Okay, good morning. Happy Australia Day. I thought that I might spend today creating a little bit of help for you guys for assignment 4 case study because it is a really challenging assessment. Really tough one, and so I'll help you out as much as I can extra with this. So, first step, what you should do straight away is download this document here, Ambient Assisted Living Systems. That's the first thing that you should be doing. This is where you're going to do the risk assessment and the policy formulation, etc. So you need to read through this document. Okay, so read through this and have a look through this, and then you decide the risks that you think, that you believe from your own knowledge and resource. What you think would be issues with this kind of system, Internet of Things. Okay, so that's the first step. Read through this document. I know it's a long document. Print it out if you like and just highlight it, or we just use this highlighting feature and just write notes and try to get as much out of this as you can. Okay, so that's the first step, is to download that document there, Haley Assist, a personalized Internet of Things technology to assist the elderly of daily living. So read that and make notes and try to get an understanding of this. So the next part is the project requirements. Okay. So what I've done is I've made this really easy for you now. So all this information here, this section, I have created a document here, a template of sorts that I'm going to send. I'm going to add to the discussion group that you can all read, and hopefully it's going to help you out a little bit. What I want you to do though is be creative here. So don't just use this. Make a bit of change yourself. Okay. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible, but I also want you to be creative, and I want you all to put additional effort into this. But what I've done is I've created a template here. So a set assignment 4 template. So create a title page, student name, student ID, student number. Just do the same things as usual. The way that you can format this if you want. You can change the format to something that looks like this if you want to. That looks really nice. You know, this paragraph side by side. If you want to do that, you can, or you can just do the way that I've created, just a normal kind of report. But I've got a contents page here, page numbers. Okay, and then what I've done is I've started with an executive summary. Again, remember I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Write this last. Okay, very important to write this last, because how can you summarize something that you haven't even talked about yet? So finalize the report, then write that last. Okay, now then we go to the risk analysis part. Now we have to use the Delphi model. So I'm going to be brutally honest here. The Delphi model is very rarely used out in cybersecurity risk assessment. There are a much more efficient, better way, like the one I mentioned on our lab yesterday, which is the NIST risk analysis templates and systems. It's a much more efficient and effective and widely used. But we have to use the Delphi in this assignment. So I've created kind of like a hybrid Delphi model. And the way I'd like you all to write this, and you can write this your own way if you like, if you've experienced with Delphi risk analysis, is first step. I've done this as a step-by-step approach. And again, I'm sending this all to you, so you don't have to take notes if you don't want to. So first of all, with the Delphi, you need a group of experts. So you need to select the experts. We need to invite experts or subject matter experts who are going to analyze the risk. Okay, who are these people? Engineers, cybersecurity experts, programmers, managerial, C-level managerial like CEOs, CISOs, and all these kind of people, security experts. Okay, What are their qualifications? Why are we choosing them? Do they have experience? Do they have I mean, like we're going to pay them a lot of money, so they need to justify. They need to prove that they're experts in their positions. Think of this as as a shopping list in this report. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about anything else. Just go out with a mind that you have a diamond credit card, an unlimited and no limits credit card. That would be pretty cool. But make sure that you're considering the diversity and size of expert panel. So we're not diversity in this we don't mean different races or cultural backgrounds or anything. What we're saying is the diversity is expertise, cybersecurity analysis, people from like various different fields. So if it's Wi-Fi, we need Wi-Fi experts, but we also need education specialists as well, because we need to educate end users in the end. So we need a whole variety of different type of experts. Step 2. Once you've got the experts, you need to create a feedback session with them, maybe 2 or 3. So what will happen is you go to the experts and you provide them a scenario. So the scenario would be, if someone attacks our wireless, what would you suggest we do about it? What do we need? How do we countermeasure that? What's the mitigate? How do we work out? Okay, we work out what the risks are, but how's this going to affect our business if we get hacked? If we're not able to provide services to our customers anymore, then that's going to be bad for our business, right? We're going to lose money, but it's also going to damage our reputation. So we need to find out what's the risks, what's the damage, how do we countermeasure that if we have to. So if the risk comes through and it gets through somehow, what do we need to do to defeat that attack? And what do we have to do to respond and rebound from it? How do we bring back critical infrastructure? And we might need to do 2 or 3 rounds of this. Okay. Step 3. So we need to identify the risks. I mean, step 3 could really be step 2, because you can get this panel, expert of panel. It could be up to you how you want to do this. The expert panels have to do a risk assessment. So you create the scenario, you present it to the experts. The experts will then do their thing. They'll go through their risk assessment. They'll say, yeah, okay, that scenario, all right, let's fix, what is the scenario first? So I've got an example here, and it's as you all know, I'm a big fan of Godzilla. So let's have a look at this. So this is not an IT related risk assessment or scenario, but let's have a look at this. So we have the Godzilla risk. So this is an example of a potential risk, okay? Godzilla potentially destroying Tokyo. He wakes up really angry and he just goes on a rampage, right? So why would Godzilla do this? He's actually a pretty cool dude. He doesn't just do things for no reason. But all right, let's have a look at this. So if humankind continues to experiment with nuclear technology, we may wake up Godzilla. So waking up, this is the risk. So if we mess around with nuclear technology, we may wake up. Okay, that's the risk. We may. It's possible. There's a potential there. What's the threat? Well, Godzilla's the threat. You might even include here, what damage will he do? That's the potential damage. Tokyo will fall apart, will collapse. The people will lose their jobs. People will die. Actually, more importantly, people will die. That's more important than losing their jobs. So, all right, well, maybe we should stop messing around with nuclear technology. I mean, that's a potential mitigation. That will prevent Godzilla from waking up. So we're going to mitigate this. Maybe we just build a huge, massive wall to stop him coming in. That's a mitigation. Now, if we must use nuclear technology, we have to in our society. We know the risks. We know that Godzilla may wake up and get angry. Well, we'll have to prepare for that. Maybe we implement, again, mitigations, build huge walls, build a way to defend Tokyo, for example. Or maybe we prepare Mechagodzilla to combat Godzilla. This is a countermeasure. So if Godzilla gets angry, we'll have Mechagodzilla who will defend Tokyo against Godzilla. So this is what you're going to do, something similar to this in your risk assessment. So you're going to find out what the risk is, who's the threat, what's the possible mitigation, how we're going to deal with this risk. Should we maybe, and we'll need a countermeasure as well. Also, what I didn't write here is, actually we'll address this later. Hang on. And yeah, so you need 4 of those risks. You need to identify 4. Then you have to rank and rate the risks that you found. So you've got 4 risks. I've got here that Godzilla's risk, getting angry, is, I've ranked it as number 1. I've rated it, out of 1 out of 4. Risk 2, I don't know, maybe flooding or earthquakes, some other kind of risks. So it's up to you. You can use a table if you like. Up to you. Then prepare a risk analysis report. So you write a report based on your findings. Okay. So you write the report. We carried out this risk assessment report. We hired a diverse group of experts. They investigated, they researched, they found 4 risks. They found the highest risk was Godzilla. This is the damage he can do. This is the risk. If we use nuclear technology, we may wake him up. We might get him angry. He might come to Tokyo and destroy the world or the city. We can mitigate against that. We can have walls to prevent him. We can have a countermeasure. Mechagodzilla can defend our city. And then once Godzilla's defeated, or maybe we stop using nuclear technology, make Godzilla happy. Once the damage is done, then we need to recover from that. We need to return Tokyo back to what it's to do it. What Tokyo does. Yeah. It's a city with people working and living and doing stuff. Next page. Next part is policy formulation. So policy formulation. So now we need to create a policy to address the risks that we found. So we're going to create a policy. So in my Godzilla example, let's create a policy to design and create Mechagodzilla. The policy is we're going to use nuclear technology. We need it. So let's create Mechagodzilla and equip it with defense mechanisms. I need to change it. Defense mechanisms. Can't spell. Okay. So that's our policy. So policy 1, to address the Godzilla problem, create Mechagodzilla to equip it with defensive mechanisms. So that's our policy. We're not going to create a war. We don't want to mitigate. We're going to instead create a countermeasure in case something does get broken in. Let's use that as a real world example. So in wireless security, okay, a mitigation is to stop people jumping onto wireless in the first place. So people just can't use wireless at all. But that's not good for normal users. We need people to come on our wireless network. But that means hackers are going to get there. So we can't mitigate against that. That's one mitigation strategy we can't use. It's not possible because that defeats the purpose of wireless networking, right? So for wireless networking, let's use a countermeasure. If a hacker or a malicious actor or someone driving past, an opportunist jumping on our wireless network, if they get through, they get onto our wireless network. So they've got through. We could have a countermeasure of a username and password. Well, that's a mitigation too. But say they break in to with the username and password. The countermeasure is we can have a sort of like a network intrusion system, and intrusion prevention system, IPS, that will shut wireless down. That's a countermeasure. So we can't mitigate against it, but we do have a countermeasure to prevent them from damaging anything. It'll inconvenience others for a while, but that's a countermeasure. So we're going to create the policy. This is the policy. We haven't created Mechagodzilla yet. We haven't done it yet. We're just creating the policy. Okay? We're not going to implement it just yet. We need to create the policy first. And remember, we need 4. We need 4 policies to address the 4 risks that we've discovered. Now let's implement the counter policy. So we've created the policy. So we want to create Mechagodzilla to defend Tokyo. Now let's implement that policy. Let's make it happen. Let's get the funding going. We're going to need a couple of $1 trillion. I think $1 trillion will do the trick. We need to hire the best experts, best engineers, best programmers in science. So we're doing stuff. We're not recommending stuff. We're actually going out and doing it. So the policies are telling us what we should do. We're planning to do. Implementing, we're actually going to go and do it. We're going to set up the funding. We're going to hire the scientists. And then we're going to build Mechagodzilla. Now, in our wireless example, so the policy is, if a hacker or a bad actor or a malicious, or someone really that shouldn't be there in the first place, accessing our wireless network, break in, can you get the username and password and find a way in, okay, then we're going to, okay, if they do that, we'll have an intrusion prevention system there. So we've created a policy for that. What we're going to do is actually, we're going to go and buy an IPS, install it, test it, run it, okay? So we're doing things, right? So we're actually implementing the policies that we've created. So the policies before is, all right, let's plan, let's use an IPS. We intend to use it. We'll later on down the track, we're going to buy it. In the implementation, we're buying it. We're going to Cisco. We're going to, whatever security appliances out there. We're going to purchase and we're going to install it. We're going to train the IPS. We're going to implement the policies that we have. We're going to set those policies into the configuration, and then we're going to let it do its job. So that's the implementation of these security programs. All right, so you got 4 of those. Then we'll create a summary. Okay, so the summary is everything that you've done in this project. Everything that you've done, but you're going to summarize it. So we set out to to investigate the risks. We created a Delphi investigation framework. We hired the best of the best, a diverse range of cybersecurity experts, managerial experts, users, educators, got them together. We created scenarios for these different types of threats, and we've ranked those risks. We've created policies to address those risks, and we've created what to do. Okay, let me rephrase that. So we implemented these policies. We actually went ahead and fixed these issues. So just simulate, just pretend that you've actually gone and done this. This is a real world thing. You've actually implemented this in the real world. Make sure, so you'll need some things to back yourself up. Okay, so you need to go out and do some research. Now, the more references that you use, the better. Okay, and the more references that you use, the more bonus marks you'll get. So if you want some free bonus marks, then nail this reference section. It's freebies. Just go and get some reference, use those references to support your arguments. Let me give you an example. If I get that assignment sheet again. If we go to the assessment here. So let's have a look at the structure. Suitable references have been located and used for all claims made. So every time you say this is a risk and you prove it, according to Harry 2024, in his research, he says that Godzilla is a risk if we use nuclear weapons and this nuclear technology. So you're referencing me. Instead, if you say that Godzilla is a threat and then blah blah blah, okay, that's okay, but why should I believe you? So if you say, according to Harry 2024 and the research that he conducted on Godzilla, he makes the claim, he says this, therefore, if we wake Godzilla up, it's going to be bad for us. So if you do this, a lot of this, if you do say, I don't want to put too much work on you, but if you do like 15 to 20 references, then you're gonna nail this. You're gonna get 25%. You'll get a distinction on that if you do 15 to 20 references, and not just put them in the reference list, actually refer to them in the text to help make your point clear. You get a 25%. That's a freebie. That's really, really easy. You guys can do this. I'm confident you'll be able to do this. All right. So let's go back to this essay here, or this report. I'll give you. Let's see if we can find a couple of risks here. Because it's pretty hard. It's not an easy document to look through. So this introduction is actually giving us the risks of falls. Dementia. So we've got aged members here. So the risk is that we're going to have the elderly hurting themselves. So this is a physical risk. So these are physical risks. Now, so let's have a look here. Oops, sorry. So our Internet of Things can assist with things like home automation. So these are good things. But what are the risks? I'll give you one. I'm going to give you one. Okay, I'm going to give you a freebie. Already, reading this, looking through this home automation, already I've got things firing through in my brain here. I've watched a lot of horror films about AI taking over people's homes and vehicles, taking control. So say an elderly citizen, member of our society, is taking a bath or a shower, and they press a button, and the heating is automated to a temperature, I don't know, 30 degrees, I think is a good temperature. I don't know. I'm not really sure what a good temperature for having a bath is. But say, for example, a hacker, a malicious actor, a really horrible, nasty piece of you-know-what, comes in and hacks the system and increases that temperature to 100 degrees centigrade. That's horrific. That's not, can you see what's going to happen there? I've just given you one risk. Now, how would you rank that risk? What I'll give you another risk in this situation. Maybe they have an automated lift. The lift that I was actually looking at Facebook Market Group lately, and they've got these amazing lifts. Really, really impressive. They're not that expensive either. you put them in double-story houses. Now you can automate those lifts as well, so that they can come down during certain times. If you go into the lift, if you have a disability, or if you can't, if you're having mobility issues, then you can use these lifts to go down the stairs. Now, if you have that automated, you press a button and it slows at a particular speed. What happens if a hacker breaks into that system, that automation, or that AI doesn't work properly? So that's another risk. AI. Maybe it's not a hacker at all. Maybe we've created an AI and we've programmed into that AI, right? We've programmed it incorrectly. We've just done a really poor job, and a person just jumps into that lift and then just rockets up into the ceiling. I mean, that's a risk too. So I haven't even read, like, already, just looking at the introduction without reading stuff in here, I'm already coming up with, I've already got 4, like, straight away. Heating the lift. I've got another one. It's got door sensors. So if if a hacker can unlock the door at the front, playing around with the sensors, they just walk in and steal stuff. Another one is I'm thinking straight away security. If they've got cameras in there, because we've got cameras, automated recording and camera movement of the elderly people at home. Well, then we can, if hackers break into the camera feed, there's pretty weird people out there. I don't know what they would do with that. So I've already got 4 straight away. Bang. I haven't even read this document and I've already got ideas around this. So so we've got something here over here. So there you go. There's that risk I was talking about, the AI, training the AI, programming it. So we're looking at the model. What if this model is wrong? What if we, what if we didn't understand the needs of the elderly properly, and we taught the AI to do the automation tasks, and not understand what the real needs of the elderly are? That's a huge risk. That's something that you can look at. Sensor events, observation and training windows. So this is more of a training an AI kind of technology. So go through that. I've given you some examples. You don't have to use those. In fact, focus on the AI aspect, the risks of the AI. So, all right, let's have a look at the risks of the AI. Number 1, I'll give you 1, and then the other 3 you work out on your own. So the first one is we just do a terrible job of teaching the AI. Okay, we do a terrible job of that, and then it's not the AI's fault, not the AI taking over. Risk number 2 is the AI actually becomes self-aware, like in Skynet and Terminator. Now that's a risk, right? But maybe you might say that's a low risk, low impact kind of risk, or high impact but low risk. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. So now that you've got the long weekend, you can work on that, and please reach out to me and let me know if you need some more assistance on this one. But I think I've given you enough to go on with this. Just to remind you, and I'm on record here to saying that I'm not going to be really harsh marking this, and apologies for the complexity of this assignment. This wasn't that enough information when the material was transferred from Swinburne over to Swinburne Online. This could have been done a bit better, but hopefully that's helped you. Oh, there was one more thing. You notice how we got 15 pages here. Sorry about this. My Zoomer tool is going crazy. See 15 pages. It says no more than 15 pages. Well, that's nice, thank you. But I just want to show you something. See my Word document? I've just given you a template, and just 5 pages for doing absolutely nothing. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. that 15 page, you'll nail it. And remember, you have your references, you have diagrams. If you want to do diagrams, you want to do tables, 15, you'll get 15 pages easily. But don't stress about that. If you got 13 pages, you have 12 or 13 pages, and you really can't add anything more, don't worry about that. I'm not going to take marks away from you for that, okay? All right, so there we have it. So please let me know if you need any more help. But I really think that you all have enough to go on. And again, good luck with that. You have the weekend. And yeah, happy Australia Day. And thank you for watching. Take care, people.